These late nights turn to days. Don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough.
The pace truck heads off of pit road for another exciting night of super speedway racing right here on Turn 1. Hello, everybody. I'm Sean Fitz. Appreciate you being here. American Sim Racing Tour takes on Daytona under the lights here in the Xfinity car. This is going to be a heck of a race here tonight. I look forward to every Monday night, and Under the Lights at Daytona is no exception. So I'm glad you're here with us tonight. Up front, Sean Stevens, Daniel Holloway, row 1, Will Weber, Chris Akers, row 2, Rob Connors, Kirby Caputa, row number 3, getting ready to kick it off here at Daytona, the first race of the Xfinity group. For the next 2 weeks, we will be here. Then next week, they will head on over to Talladega with these Xfinity cars. And then the week after, so 3 weeks from now, we'll rotate to the next gen. We are already quickly approaching the playoffs for the American Sim Racing Tour. So I'll tell you what, if you haven't already done so, you're going to want to get connected. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, follow, do what you need to do. Not only to show support to Turn 1 and ensure that you're getting all the broadcasting coverage we have to offer each and every week, but also, too, to support these 29 drivers on track for your entertainment here this evening. Really excited to bring this race to you after last week. A little illness struck in the Turn 1 booth. I didn't have much of a voice there early in the week, but we are back and kicking, ready to roll here on Monday night. Again, Sean Stevens, Daniel Holloway up front, Will Weber, Chris Akers, row number 2. A long way here tonight, a long super speedway race. We're going to get into it, but first, we got to get started. The Chevy Silverado pace truck heads down pit road. Sean Stevens, Daniel Holloway, get him rolling, and we're green flag here under the lights of Daytona. Everybody free and clear through turn number 1. Got this race under green flag conditions for the first time. 105 laps at Daytona. These guys are going to make it look and make it go by very quickly. Side by side as they come down the short chute between 3 and 4, and then through the tri-oval. Side by side for the top 15 spots or so. As they roll it back in at turn 1, number 1, getting just up to speed here. It takes about 2 laps for these Xfinity machines to get up to speed here at Daytona. Keep in mind, too, these drivers know they've got to be there at the end. You hear me talk about it each and every week. When you go super speedway racing, as we see Daniel Holloway move down to that inside line, when you go super speedway racing, it's anybody's game, but you've got to be there when the checkered flag falls. And it all starts right now, choosing the right lane, choosing the right place at the right time. A lot of skill involved. But these drivers would be lied to you if they said there wasn't just a smidge of luck to be considered as well. Again, side by side down the backstretch here. Daniel Holloway, Sean Stevens, Chris Akers, Will Weber making up that third and fourth spot there. That's where the side by side racing action continues. Daniel Holloway has Sean Stevens right to the bumper. They've pretty much got him single file for the first three cars here. And that bottom line looks like it's rolling. Stevens pokes his nose out as they come through the tri-oval, stays right in line with Holloway. Akers on the outside is going to get a little bit of a run. Going to take advantage of that inside lane instability there as they came through the tri-oval. Now Akers actually looks like he's got some pressure. Looks like we had a couple, car or two thinking about creating a third lane there down the backstretch, thought better of it. Oh, big wiggle! That inside line, that's going to cause a wreck. Big pile up in turn number 4 there. That all started actually with Sean Stevens, who checked up pretty hard off the bumper of Daniel Holloway. And everybody kind of went for the ride from there. Daniel Holloway, your leader. Chris Akers, John Bell, Jeff Carl, Kirby Caputa, your top 5. Looks like involved in that incident was Hunter Smith, Eddie Morris, and a couple others. Obviously, we saw, I think Will Weber had to take some evasive maneuvers there to avoid getting too involved. Sean Stevens, he's got a banged up race car, it looks like. This is going to give this opportunity. It was a pack of cars that started on pit road. They knew if they were going to ride it out here at the long term, there was going to be a caution or two. And starting off on pit road, it's kind of the smart thing to do here in the early going. We're going to talk about pit situation. What do we expect to see out of this group? And more. We're going to step aside for the first time here tonight as they start pit stops for the first time. You're watching Turn 1. Side by side, getting ready to go back. Green flag racing here, lap number 7. First caution of the night here at Daytona under the lights for the American Sim Racing Tour right here on turn 1. So, a little bit of a different approach to pit stops here than we see normally, in that these drivers do have a single fast repair. That's right, they have one fast repair to get through the race. We see a lot of cars on that inside lane. I imagine we're going to see a lot of folks elect to hang back here for a while. An aggressive start. And the green flag is back out. Let's see if everybody calms down. We'll get some laps under the belt here tonight in the early going. Akers gets them rolling. You're always going to guarantee to find that 29 car up front. Anywhere he can find the opportunity, the 38's going to be there as well. As they work to get up to speed here once again. But as I was talking about, these drivers do have the option to leverage a fast repair, one per race. Using that has to make sense. You've got to make sure you don't want to do that too early. You also don't want to run around here with damage, because if you use that fast repair too early and then get into another incident, you can almost guarantee, short of it being minor damage, that's going to be the end of your competitive night here in a super speedway race. Akers up front, John Bell on the outside row on the outside of that row. And then you have Jeff Carl, Kirby Caputa, James Waring, Tyler Hurd. 2 by 2, pretty much all the way back through the field as they come down the backstretch. It's about 20 cars, all on a blanket, basically throw a blanket over them, side by side. And this is super speedway racing. Here at Daytona, we won't see that third line materialize too much here tonight. Talladega, you'll see these drivers take 2 or take 3 wide fairly often, but here at Daytona, they stick to mostly 2 wide. As they work their way through turn number 1. Firmly up to speed here. Lap number 10. Akers comfortably running that bottom line. We'll see Chris be up front for a good portion of the night. That he likes to sit up front, try to avoid some of the chaos through the field. You will not see him run mid-pack if he can avoid it. And that's kind of depending on your racing, your style of choice. Run middle of the pack, run the back of the pack. We got a car on the apron there that looked a little sketchy. But depending on your style, what you want to do, what you're looking to accomplish is going to greatly depend on where you run in this field. Do you run up front? Well, if you're going to run up front, you better be in those first 2 or 3 rows. If you're going to run any further back than that, you gotta really decide if that's worth it to you as a driver to run the risk. Because if you're back there in the middle of this pack, there's so many things that could go wrong that gets you caught up very quickly. Tyler Hurd up front on the bumper of John Bell. Nearly had Bell clear to the 29. You'll see that happening quite a bit as drivers work to push each other back and forth towards the front of this race here. And on that outside lane, if you've got a good push, you got a good partner that you can trust and run with, they can push you all the way to the front of this front of the inside lane. They can get you actually clear of that inside lane. You'll oftentimes see those drivers on the outside then move to the bottom and take the lead off the bottom. At Talladega, we see those runs a little harder on the outside, so therefore you can get your drafting partner with you down there and not really lose any speed. But here, if you can get one car clear, oftentimes that outside car is going to take that lead off the inside. But right now, Akers doing a really good job keeping the inside lane pushing. The outside lane, though, right there, this is the third or fourth time that 3 car has had nearly full clearance to jump down. He does not elect to do it as they roll into turn 3 and 4. We see a car up against the wall that looks like maybe a wiggle's pushed him up there. Now they can't get cleared down. Three wide back there, through 4 rows back. That will not be sustainable for too long here. All by himself up there. It's the 35. 35 gets into the wall. You see it right there. That's going to be a chain effect. Several drivers are involved here, get bumping, but they keep it straight. So far, it stays green. That was the 35 of Matt Binky. Unfortunately, not what he wanted to see, and he also collected the 6. That pretty much has cleared out that outside lane. And by the way, we have a new leader on the inside. John Bell, Tyler Hurt have moved down, and now all of a sudden that outside lane all but gone now. This is exactly what I was referring to. Once you get your inside lane, once you get that outside lane clear, and if you can get your drafting partner with you, you move down early and you move forward. They were able to get the 7 car up there as well. That's Dalton Gibson sitting P3 on the inside lane. Jeff Carl, he's the only one on the outside leveraging some of that side draft off the 29. He was glued to the Chris Akers bumper for a good portion of those laps there. Now Carl's going to have a little bit of help. That's Daniel Holloway moving back up through the field, looking for an opportunity to get that outside lane back recreated. Holloway connects with Carl. This is going to help Carl get a little bit of a run here on that outside lane. They're going to leverage that in the side draft. Now starting to pick up momentum. And then 5 cars back. The outside lane starts to pick up a few more cars. On the inside, though, it looks like there's going to be a little bit of a gap between Hurt and Gibson. That's going to slow them down a little bit. Big gap between Gibson and the 29 of Chris Akers. Chris Akers is going to elect to stay on the bottom. Most of the wrecks, when they start here, they slide up the racetrack first. Maybe that's playing a factor with Holloway. He's going to bail out on the 38. Holloway's going to slide into that P4 position on the bottom. No fear, though, because here comes that outside lane. The 8 car of Eddie Morris. I think it's Ed Smith as well up there, looking for a little bit of advantage. They're going to pick up the 38. And all of a sudden, Jeff Carl's got back up on the outside once again. Daniel Holloway looking a little higher, riding off the bumper of the 7. I thought he may have pulled up in front of the 38. There it is. He's going to do it. Holloway now looking to ride the outside lane all the way to the front. Just in front of him there, Tyler Hurt moved up a little bit to try to take the air off the 21. He's not going to be able to slow him down. That outside lane's going to be on the move. Now alongside the 7 and quickly gaining momentum. Side by side. Up front, looking free and clean here. Down the backstretch through lap number 18, and Tyler Hurt's going to move up. Squeezes off the bumper of the 7, jumps in front of the 21. Tyler Hurt now going to lead that outside lane. Daniel Holloway is going to have a heck of a push down the backstretch for the 14 of Hurt. Going to roll through the corner. Side by side now, Tyler Hurt's going to be even with the 3 car of John Bell. Once glued to the rear bumper of that 3, now alongside, fighting for the lead here in lap number 19 as they come down the backstretch. We see a car again outside, basically that 3rd row, where that 3rd row would be. That was Rob Duvidak. No help on that third row there, that third line materializing thus far. Rob's going to move back down to the high side. Basically the top 22 cars here, side by side. Super speedway racing at its finest here at Daytona. Under the lights, 20 laps in of tonight's American Sim Racing Tours Super Speedway Xfinity coverage right here on Turn 1. I appreciate everybody being here. I'm Sean Fitz. Really excited, was looking forward to this Monday night call. Under the lights and these Xfinity machines. The last 2 weeks rather, it's been trucks. Well, now we've got the Xfinity cars on track. They'll be on track next week as well at Talladega. You're not going to want to miss that one either. Oh, and Tyler Hurt, really slow on the outside. I don't know what that was about. Daniel Holloway and the 38 also moved up. They were getting ready to take everybody around Tyler Hurt, but Tyler Hurt's slow, or slower on the outside. Pit stop's really not a factor just yet. These drivers have about another 5 or 6 laps before I assume we would see some green flag stops, as the 7's going to duck out from behind the 3. That's Dalton Gibson now going to take the lead on that outside lane. Big scatter out down the backstretch for that inside lane again. Daniel Holloway's going to move down. I don't know what exactly that was about, but it was a huge scatter fest down the backstretch for that inside group. I think a lot of these drivers are getting ready for pit stops here in the next 2 to 3 laps. And if you're on that outside lane, you're kind of in a position where you're stuck. But you don't want to be stuck, because it's going to be really important, especially for green flag stops as they work their way through lap traffic. It's going to be important that you have a partner. You have people to go with. You can pit from that outside lane as long as everybody underneath you elects to go as well. Something to keep in mind. As the rest of the field here starts to scatter out, about 12 cars in this pack, and then separating out behind it. No big group coming this time, as these leaders of Bell and Dalton Gibson approach some more lap traffic. Tell you what, this is a decent run here for the 3 car. We've seen him flirt with the lead a couple times each and every week. Oh, and the caution's out. Oh, we've got a big pileup back here in turn 1. And it looks like that's going to be Ethan Horst. And a couple others involved. Russ Hancock involved. Let's see if we can take a look, find out what brought the caution out here tonight for the second time under the lights at Daytona. This is not the view we needed here. So let's try this one. This is going to be with Russ Hancock, starting around turn 1. Oh, Ethan Horst, maybe some net code at play there. Got those 2 tangled up. Oh, Rob Duvidak just sliding through there, narrowly avoiding that incident. That's going to bring the caution out here for the second time tonight at Daytona under the lights for the American Sim Racing Tour. Right here on turn 1. John Bell has this group back behind the pace car, and we're going to see pit stops. This kind of falls right in line. I imagine we were going to see stops in the next 5 to 10 anyway, just from a fuel perspective. So everybody's going to come down and get a little bit of fuel and some Goodyear tires. We'll get ready to go back green flag racing probably right around lap 27, lap 28. We're going to step aside for just a moment. You're watching turn 1. Back green flag racing here, lap 27. Dalton Gibson on the front row. Tyler Hurt, John Bell, Jeff Carl. A little bit of a spread out start here for a lot of these drivers. This is the most scattered restart we've seen all night, but right now, Gibson up front. He's got Hurt on the bumper. Bell by himself on the outside, the 38 on the move. Really, everybody just trying to gather a partner just to get moving here. That inside lane's going to be there before the outside lane. Some folks to talk about after those pit stops. Carl Lingle. He's up to P3 right now. That's a big improvement on his starting position. That's 17 spots for him. James Waring up here in the top 6. Rob Duvidak. He is up P8 right now. Guy Braco, comfortably sitting in the top 10 for the first time. So some pit stops. The strategy paying off for some of these drivers. We see some folks moving to the front here in the early going. Gibson on the inside, Tyler Hurt. Single file down the inside. Outside lane picks up around third place, or the 30 car. And that's Carl Lingle. Again, he has not been up here most of the night. A couple of these drivers, it looks like the top 4 elected to 2-tire stop. Maybe just a feel lonely situation for some of these guys to take advantage of track position here. Closing in on a third of the way through tonight's race under the lights of Daytona, the American Sim Racing Tour right here on turn 1. Essentially the entire field side by side as they roll into turn number 3. 2 lanes, this is what super speedway racing is all about. Everybody tight quarters with one another. You're on the bumper, the guy in front of you, the guy in front of you, or the guy behind you is on your bumper, and it's just a bunch of pushing and shoving for 100 laps or more under the lights here at Daytona. We talked about some of the drivers who were gained a little bit of time on those pit stops as we see a driver move all the way up to the high side off the blend line. That was tight. Oh, we're going to have a wreck. I was just about to mention a couple of these drivers. I believe that started there with a Frank Ranger. But as that all started there because of that blend car. Coming up the racetrack, everybody had to get sideways. They're going to save it, though. It's going to continue green flag here. But I was just about to talk about some of those drivers towards the rear. Remember where the 21 was right before that caution? He was up front running with the leaders. He's currently sitting 15th. Eddie Morris is back here as well. Will Weber, he started up front. Now towards the rear of the field, or towards the last half of the field here. Ethan Horst is back there. Sean Stevens. Sean started, I believe, on the front row was the start for Sean tonight. And right now, not looking so good in that 27 car. Sitting 20th right now. We move back up front. Hey, they're 3 wide. That is going to be basically 3 wide for 5th. Duvidak making that third line work. All by himself with a little bit of a door draft. He's not going to have any help all the way against the wall. It's going to be tight corners up there. He's going to move down and pick up the second line. Everybody 2 by 2 as they roll down into turn number 2. I'm sorry, that was turn number 4, not turn number 2. Again, as they come across the start-finish line here to take lap 33. Dalton Gibson, John Bell, side by side, leading. while we've got an opportunity, want to just say hey to Jeff Sr. Love watching these races, Jeff. We love seeing you here. Hi, Miss Fitz. Appreciate you tuning in over on the good old Twitch machine as well. Looks like a lot of folks tuned in on YouTube. We appreciate you being here, watching the side-by-side super speedway action here for the American Sim Racing Tour right here on Turn 1. If you haven't already done so, make sure you get connected. We are closing in on 500 followers on Facebook. If you haven't already done so, we'd love to get you to follow us over there tonight. And quickly growing the YouTube channel. If you haven't done so as well, we'd love to see you sub to us right there on the YouTube. If you're watching us over there, we'd love that support. These leagues each and every week, they look to bring some of the best racing they possibly can, whether it be ASR, OSR, Sim 500 group. Really, everybody wants to put on a great show. That's the whole reason for these broadcasts. So we appreciate you tuning in. John Bell, right in an outside lane. He's going to pull that move we talked about earlier in the broadcast. He's going to get clear of Dalton Gibson. He's going to move down. John Bell's now going to be the leader on the inside row. He's going to leave the 38 outside high and dry, at least for now. The 33 car is going to be upset or back there with the push. That's Carl Lingle. And then Rob Dubedak make up that outside row as several drivers kind of cut and slice back and forth, outside, inside, inside, outside. Just trying to figure out where they could maybe get an advantage. But right now, advantage is John Bell on the nose, or off the nose of the 7 of Dalton Gibson on the inside here, lap number 35. Keep a really, really close eye on that 99 of Dubedak. Rob is a really cool guy, one of the admins and league owners here for the ASR group. And whenever I was first talking with him and Guy about coming on board, these two were really passionate about this league. It felt like it was a really unique group to run with. We've seen a lot of fantastic green flag racing for dozens and dozens and dozens of laps before. They've also had some not so nice ones, but overall, it is all about the people you surround yourself by. And this American Sim Racing Tour group has got it figured out here with these super speedway races each and every week, all being led mostly by that 99 car. He's not had the season I think he would have expected to have, though. So that's why I say keep an eye on him. He's due for a really, really decent finish here. As we see that 7 car flirts really close with the 38 to 33. That gets very tight. That's Dalton Gibson. That car feeling a little loose, having a hard time keeping that car underneath him through the corner. That's a sign of that driver having a lot of wheel in that machine, just trying to hang on to it. John Bell has to go to the apron. Makes contact with the 33. He's going to check the whole inside lineup. Dalton Gibson gets involved. I think they're going to try to avoid. Oh, they're trying to avoid not wreck, but they're going to do it off the nose. I think that was Ethan Horst. What? I don't quite know what happened there. That all started with John Bell losing it off the nose there. Got to the apron, came back up, and it was just fishtailing the rest of the way. That is really split out now. The top 10 with Jeff Carl leading currently Guy Braco. They're going to bring DJ Maddish. They're going to start getting that row, this pack of cars collected. Unfortunately, Jeff Carl had to lift pretty hard. That's going to leave him solo by himself on the inside. As they try to form up some lanes here again, pretty big gap. On back to Rob Dubedak. Dalton Gibson's together, then Tyler Hurt by himself. This really scattered out a big part of this field. It's going to take 2 or 3 laps for people to figure things out, get these groups back together. We're going to stay green under the lights. DJ Madish up for Guy Braco, Jeff Carl, Rob Duvidak, and Dalton Gibson, your top 5. They've pretty much got this top 6 organized back together here. This will turn into a pack of 6. And then we look back at James Waring. He's going to pretty much be the leader of that pack. That's who's that there with Waring? It looks like he's going to have John Bell, Eddie Morris, and everybody else with him. And they all start to stack up there right behind James Waring. So we'll see this group quickly catch up to this 6-pack group of drivers. If they were a single file line, they very well could have maintained a little bit of a lead off this rest of this pack for a while if they were to stay single file. But right now, side by side, 6 cars here up front, separated by about 4 or so seconds back. For the rest of the pack. Right now, the 6-car breakaway moving down into turn number 3. And that rest of the pack here is running about midway down the back stretch. Looks like Dalton Gibson's going to move down to the inside. It's almost as if he heard me there. If they want to try to maintain this lead, kind of segment themselves, maybe run a little bit of a safer race, get in line, sort it out, try to keep a run, try to keep everybody away or keep this group away and keep them a little faster than the pack starting from 7th on back. And they're going to do that. They're going to get single file here, led by DJ Madish's Jeff Carl, Guy Braco, Rob Duvidak, and Dalton Gibson, all single file here down the backstretch, trying to build up a little bit of speed. Right now, that group rolling through turn 3 and 4. And this bigger pack just now getting caught up with them. I tell you, this is a smart move. I think this is a really, really good move. That this 6-car pack they're manageable. They can communicate. You can even pit with this group. May not be your teammates, may not be the people you want to pit with, but you can keep yourself away from the chaos and the traffic. All they've got to do is stay pretty tight here. Stay organized. That's a great view of it right there. About half a straightaway separates the 6-car lead pack from the rest of the field. We'll see how this shakes out as they roll back down the backstretch again next time by. As they come through the short chute, lap number 43 to take lap 44. DJ Madish up front for the first time here tonight. Jeff Carl has been up front all evening long in that 38. Been kind of back and forth a little bit. But so far is hanging on. Guy Braco, Rob Duvidak, and Dalton Gibson, your top 5. And then we have the 11 car up here with us as well. That's Hunter Smith. He is a lap down right now, but running off the bumper there of DJ Madish. And that gap looking about the same, about half a straightaway. For this front 6 here. Pit stops are not really a factor at the moment. They've been out for about 20 laps. A couple of those laps under caution. I expect to see them probably come down before lap 55. So probably another 8 to 10 green flag laps before we see these drivers come down pit road. We're going to take a look again and see where they are in the grand scheme of the big pack. Again, this front 6 up here, single file down the backstretch. That gap starting to shrink, but still looking pretty healthy, but they're going to form up a second line here. It's going to be led by the 69. That's Guy Braco. I'm sorry. No, that's the 69. Oh, we got cars on pit road. I'm sorry. We were looking at that. We got cars on pit road. DJ Madish is going to come down. Jeff Carl is going to bring him within a big portion of that second pack is going to come down. Not sure why, but that what the heck is going on there? Why we wouldn't have seen this front six pit together? Nonetheless, this guy Braco up front, he's leading for the first time here tonight at Daytona with a 99 car pushing him down the backstretch. They also have Dalton Gibson with him. Big gap behind them after these three. What do they elect to do this time by? I'm very surprised there wasn't more coordination here, but here we go. Now, from the lead, the top three cars going to all move down pit road, and that's going to bring the rest of this pack. You see them fanned out. We're essentially going to have all pit stops done here in 2 laps. DJ Madish and co are all blending here on the backstretch, and well, he's got company with him now. He's going to have quite a bit of help. This is going to bring pretty much the rest of the field back together, but he will have the 38 and the 11 with him. They pit together under these green flag pit stops right here around lap 47. Will Weber down pit road. Todd Poston also taking fuel as well. Duvidak currently still showing the lead, but they're about to get past. Pretty spread out here. Duvidak, Braco, Dalton Gibson, Eddie Morris, Chris Akers. But here comes DJ Madish. This may pay off for Duvidak. This may have worked out for him. If he can get up to speed and not let this draft pass him by and blow his doors off. I don't know if Braco will get there to him. I also don't know if Eddie Morris, Chris Akers can slow down DJ Madish, but those drivers are about a lap faster than the rest of this pack. And they're going to get organized, so they're going to have a good bit of run and drafting help here. At first, I was wondering if Duvidak was going to if this was going to work out for Duvidak, but it doesn't look like it is, with Dalton Gibson now shoving Guy Braco up to the front. Braco by himself on the inside. It's just a 3-wide mess up front. 3 wide for the lead here. And that's Eddie Morris, Dalton Gibson, Guy Braco. Chris Akers on the bumper of the 8 on that high line trying to make something happen. In the meantime, though, that group led by DJ Madish is going to be coming here very quickly. You see it now about 20 car lengths back. And they're going to have a blocked track. They're not going to have a whole lot of room to go, and this group in front of them is going to be slower. This is going to be a little bit of chaos as they roll through turn 1. Where do you go if you're leading this pack? DJ Madish trying to find somewhere to blend significantly faster. They're going to have to check up. Oh, they're going to try to thread the needle. Madish is going to squeeze through. He's going to bring the 38 with him. Akers is going to make contact. Madish says, move out of the way. I'm coming through. That run was going to be huge, and I knew they couldn't just stuff it behind the 99. They disrupt that whole front pack and made it work here on lap 49. Madish, all the way out to the wall. Him and Braco may have made a little bit of contact. Now we have some 3-wide racing back. They're all fighting for around 5th or so. Side by side, 3 wide. John Bell right in the middle of that. In the meantime, Guy Braco leading the inside line. 99 at Duvidak is with him. Somehow Daniel Holloway is back in this group. He's there as well. Oh, the 38's in the wall. Stay green. And here comes Chris Akers. He's going to make it 3 wide. DJ Madish, he's going to try to figure out a way around Madish by himself. I'm not sure he's going to have the momentum there. And all of a sudden, that outside lane kind of falling apart just a little bit. Madish out there with Akers about a car length off of him. Duvidak's going to bow out of that inside lane. He says, no, sir, I've had enough of this. He's going to pull the parachute. You see him down below the yellow line. He's looking to go back to the rear of the field. Still not even halfway through, and there you see DJ Madish. I don't... What a chaotic last few laps here. Madish moved ahead and then moved to the bottom, moved back to the top. Chris Akers now on the bottom in front of Guy Braco. I couldn't keep track of this if I tried. Akers now leading this bottom group. That's Braco, Holloway, Horst. Then on the outside, that is going to be, who is that? That's Madish, Hurt, and Weber up there for the first time up front here tonight. At least fighting in this top 6 pack here, side by side. We talked about Guy Braco. Last time down the backstretch, pulled the ejection seat. He went to the rear of the inside, rear of the longest slide for the 99. He's shown that he can run up front here, but did not want to hang out in the chaos for too long. They come across the stripe to take lap number 53. Past halfway here tonight of on turn 1 for what's been a wild American Sim Racing Tour. Under the lights racing action, Xfinity Series cars at Daytona. We appreciate you being here. I'm Sean Fitz. It's been a lot of fun watching this group take on this high-banked racetrack. It's always a good show when you have some talented drivers able to work and run with one another in a congested format. Super Speedway racing is just that. It is 2x2, often for a dozen or more rows on back. You're just hanging on for the ride. You're looking for a partner. You're looking to be productive and make a move as Madish is up against the wall. I don't know if that was planned or not. That is now going to leave that outside lane to be led by Tyler Hurt. Akers, Hurt on the front row. That's going to be Will Weber. Guy Braco, row number 2. Hurt with a huge run. He's now going to move down. Weber pushed him all the way forward, clear of the 29 now. Hurt's going to take the lead on the bottom. And what was a really strong outside lane, now just only 3 cars. Roughly about halfway through this green flag cycle on fuel. Already here, lap number 55. We saw how chaotic that was for those 2 to 3 laps where everybody was kind of blending back on track and trying to find their way. That was only 10 laps ago, but about a 20-25 lap fuel run. And you've got to pit with a partner. You've got to pit with multiple partners here at Daytona if you expect to come out in any reasonable position or the competitive position here. Down pit road at speed went Tyler Hurt. We were looking down to look at scoring, and all of a sudden Hurt just went for a ride. That scattered out pretty much the whole field up front once again. Looks like this all started with Will Weber. James Wary and a couple others had to take out some evasive maneuvers. Very interesting turn of events. Let's go back and see if we can figure out what may have happened here as these cars get caught up with, I believe that's Eddie Morris. Oh no, the caution's going to be out. That is not Eddie Morris, by the way. That was Matt Beankey, but the caution's going to be out here. Let's first take a look. I believe this is going to be the incident that brought the caution out involving Ambrose Devil. This is actually a hard left hook for Ambrose. Gonna run into the outside door of the 99. This is gonna bring the caution out here, but let's go back here and find out what may have caused a little bit of chaos with Chris Akers, Will Weber, and a couple others just a little bit before this caution came out. Right there, oh, the 99 got, that's, okay, that explains that. We were looking over at scoring, completely missed that. Akers basically took a full speed, slipped back up the track. And that's gonna bring the caution out here once again at Daytona under the lights for this group. Here for the third time this evening. They're slowed up on the backstretch, getting ready to catch the pace truck. They're all going to come down pit road. Guy Branco leading, Daniel Holloway, Ethan Horst, your top three. We're going to step aside. You're watching Turn 1.
let you down. These late nights turn to days. Don't wanna let you down. With each breath we give away, it'll never be the same. I'm chasing somebody who won't ever ease the pain, but I don't want half of your heart, heart, heart. You can have it back if it's only half of your heart. If it's only half of your heart. I feel like I'm afraid of the only things I can't change.
Pit stops complete here under caution for the third time tonight on American Sim Racing Tour's live broadcast here on Turn 1. Hello, everybody. Getting ready to get back. Green flag racing up front. Some newcomer, Rob Connors, up here back from leading earlier, being up front here early. Green flag back out. Connors on the inside lane. Chris Akers, Dalton Gibson, Guy Braco, Ethan Horst, your top five. Everybody running 2x2, getting ready to come back up to speed here. Lap 60 of 105. Appreciate everybody tuning in here. So far, an exciting race at Daytona. We still have just about 2 fuel runs remaining before we get to the end of this thing. And it's really anybody's race. We've obviously seen a couple cautions here tonight. A couple drivers, unfortunately, having to use some of those faster pairs. Chris Akers is going to move down to take the air off of Rob Connors and take the lead up front. But a couple of these drivers having to leverage those faster pairs early. Another, well, we are past halfway, but still a good portion of this race left remaining here tonight on Turn 1. We are in a position where we could see some strategy play out here. If we could get to lap 82, well, you're going to have to get to probably lap 85 or so on fuel here, and it's going to be tight based on what we've seen these drivers do. But if some of them could get to lap 85, then they will be good to go all the way to the end. And if there were to be a late race caution, which there tends to be, there would be a late race caution at the end of this thing. We could see these drivers maybe play some strategy and elect to stay out. Sorry about that. We could like to see these drivers stay out and potentially take advantage of that all-important track position here at the very end of these super speedway races. We still got a ways to go, but we can worry about that. Chris Akers up front. Guy Braco leading the outside of row or outside line. This is a pretty strong showing for Braco, who's been up front for a couple laps here tonight. I would argue probably not the season he was expecting to have. Had a couple incidences here over the last couple weeks. Oh, speaking of incidences, that was a big move there. Oh, and there it is. We're going to have some cars sideways down the backstretch right in front of the field. Connors involved in that and a couple others. Kirby Caputa, Ed Smith, Carl Lingle, and others. Oh, there, the 3 of Bell gets involved. Ambrose Neville, Duvidak was involved again. What happened to Duvidak? Let's take a look here. This is going to be a little further back. Kind of saw this all playing out. Duvidak, you see him there on the inside, kind of minding his P's and Q's, gets real slow here. That wasn't a crash, but you could definitely tell that driver knows. He has got to, he's probably used that faster pair. Comes to almost a complete stop down the backstretch. Unfortunately, a good portion of cars involved here right now. Guy Braco is going to be up front, showing your leader, Chris Akers, James Waring, Dalton Gibson, Jeff Carl, Matt Binky, Tyler Hurt, Ethan Horst, Will Weber, and Frank Ranger, the top 10. Under caution here once again. Lap number 64. Probably not what the some of these drivers wanted to see. They wanted to see things kind of go long here. I think we'll see everybody come down pit road and top off on fuel. You still cannot make it the whole way here. from a fuel mileage perspective, I don't believe this does not get them to the end of the race. No, definitely does not get them to the end of the race. So we'll see them come down pit road and then have to come down and take a splash one more time. As everybody hits the boxes for fuel once again here. Taking a look back over at the Turn 1. The Turn 1 broadcasting text chat. And want to appreciate Steve Hobbit for jumping in. He's saying he had to pull out. Got too hot and stuffy here, making me sleepy. Well, Steve, we appreciate you doing that. Showing him off track. Well, I'll tell you what. Hopefully you can tune in to Turn 1 and watch the rest of this race come to fruition. Off the out of the pits, Chris Akers leading. Guy Branco, James Waring, Dalton Gibson, Todd Poston up front, or up towards the front here in the top 5. We're going to step aside for just a moment. You're watching Turn 1. Akers, Waring, Gibson, and Branco. The top to front, the front 2 rows here as we get ready to go back. Green flag racing lap 67. This field's starting to thin out just a little bit. Starting to see some more damaged cars on track than we have all night. A sign of things starting to come to an end here for some of these drivers. We'll see how this all plays out in terms of raciness, but right now, James Waring and Chris Akers up front. Green flag back out, lap 67. Akers on the inside, leading that inside lane with Branco with him right there. Gibson as well. I'm sorry, that's Gibson on the outside. That's Guy Braco there. And James Waring on the inside along with Chris Akers. Guy Braco blinking a little bit. Now Akers looking to take that lead away on the outside off the bumper of the 7. Akers is going to make contact with Waring. Waring goes for a deep ride. There goes Braco rotating through. No caution out. Huge incident up front with the leaders all started with Waring and Akers, and then Braco somehow involved. We're going to stay green. Now, new leaders up front. That's Dalton Gibson leading that inside lane. They're a little squirrely back behind him. In the meantime, Tyler Hurt has Daniel Holloway on the outside lane. Who was that third back on that inside? Oh, that's Ambrose Nebel. Trying to hang on to the inside row. Chris Akers there now on the outside, and I think I called Akers incorrectly earlier. I believe that may have been Ethan Horst. I do get those paint jobs mixed up. It was Horst. So I believe that was Ethan Horst getting involved there. Either way, Chris Akers, sorry about that, Chris. He's up front now. Right off the bumper of Holloway. And now what was 22 cars here, the big lead pack now starting to come apart a little bit. Looks like 12 cars are going to be this leading group. With Hurt, Holloway, Gibson, Akers, Poston, and Hancock, your top 6. Side by side as they come down the backstretch, lap number 70, 35 laps remaining here tonight. At least one more round of pit stops for these drivers. We got a car down the inside field. That is going to be the 17 machine. He went for a ride. That was Frank Ranger getting loose off towards the rear of that pack. And went for a ride through the grass. In the meantime, Daniel Holloway up front now on the inside, row 1. Akers outside row 1. An outside lane really only 4 or 5 cars strong. Well, as Holloway is starting to drive away with that inside group with Hurt and Gibson right there. Again, side by side as they roll down the backstretch here. The 38 car is going to move to the outside. That was DJ Madish also going to make the move. Akers starting to build a little bit of support. That inside lane now only 5 cars deep. Akers on the pool here. He's going to bring Hancock with him. That's also going to be the 35, Matt Binky. We've seen him kind of all over the place here tonight. Now trying to make some moves on that outside lane. Now all of a sudden, Akers has a huge push down the backstretch. For the first time in a couple laps, that outside lane feeling supported. Akers is going to going to clear down on the 21. Hancock's going to be leading now the outside row. Holloway and Akers paired up on the inside. I tell you what, that's a group of drivers That's two right there that you do not want to see if you're the rest of the competition. These two paired up. But it looks like the 343 and the 35 have also got a pretty strong push here. With Hancock nearly getting clear on that inside row, but wow, really squirrely. That outside line just all over the place. Now only 4 cars. And look at the run that Akers and Holloway pulled down the backstretch. This is what I mean. You do not want these two paired up. We see them do it pretty often each and every week, get together and just drive away. And you saw them put about a 2-car gap between them and Tyler Hurton. And we're at a super speedway track where drafting really is a great equalizer in these two. You can park a school bus in that gap between Holloway and Hurt. Inside line now, about 12 cars long, single file there. Oh, we got cars through the grass. That's oh goodness. That's gonna bring the caution out. That was Ethan Horst and a couple others. Oh wow. And it looks like the 38 went up and came across the track and unfortunately is gonna collect a couple others. And the caution's out again for the 5th time, lap number 76. Chris Akers was leading, did not want to see that happen. This does get these drivers within what I would call the fuel window, though. 30 laps remaining. Once it's all said and done, we're going to go back green flag racing, probably around lap number 79. Going to be within the 25 or so lap fuel window. How's this all going to shake out in terms of strategy? Well, we'll find out here. Quickly laying down some laps. We're under caution. Once again, you're watching Turn 1. Gonna take the green flag, lap number 78. We saw everybody come down pit road for a splash of fuel. Most of them only taking fuel here. We're gonna see how this all shakes out. We should be in the window to run this rest of the way through the green. Let's see what they've got. Chris Akers leading. Green flag back out, lap number 79. Two by two as they roll through turn number 1 and 2. Akers with Hurt on the bottom, connected together. Holloway on the outside. He's going to have, I believe that's Gibson with him. No, I'm sorry, that's the Russ Hancock machine right there. And the 3-4-3. Side by side as they roll through the tri-oval. Outside lane not really materializing much of a run on the in the meantime. The inside controlled by Chris Akers. Got Tyler Hurt glued to the bumper, pushing down the backstretch. As they come across the stripe, that's 25 laps remaining here tonight at the American Sim Racing Tour. Super Speedway Xfinity action right here at Daytona on turn 1. Appreciate everybody tuning in. I hope you've stuck with us through this entire night because the racing's been pretty exciting. I hope you haven't turned away because guess what? It's about to crank up a notch. Holloway nearly gets clear. He's going to get clear. All of a sudden, the 21 now in front of the 29. Remember what we were talking about right before this caution came out? You do not want to get these two drivers connected together. Akers and Holloway on the inside line. Back together once again. But I tell you what, we talked about it towards the top of the broadcast, and really it's the same thing now. As a group, you won't find any better super speedway racing week in, week out of these drivers. But really, the most important thing is being there at the end. You cannot race for the win if you're not there when the white flag comes out and you're up front at the end of this thing. You have got to be there when it matters. And unfortunately, some of these drivers here tonight are not going to be competitive. Not going to be up front when it makes sense. They're not going to be in a position to compete for the win. It's been a pretty hectic night on track, but still some really solid racing. And a lot of familiar and unfamiliar names up front here with 23 to go. Holloway and Akers on the inside road or the inside line here. Hancock. And it looks like that's the 92 Will Weber on the outside. That outside road or outside lane, really only about 5 cars. Inside lane's dominant really here at Daytona for the most part, and everybody knows too. Here's the thing. They've been down pit road. Lap number 76. They went back green flag racing lap number 79. That is essentially going to be 26 laps of racing action. Well, no, I'm sorry. That's going to be 30 laps of racing action for a lot of these drivers here. 29. Who's counting, right? Going to 105. But, no, yeah, there should be 26 laps. And these drivers are really going to have to. That's going to be right on the edge of the fuel window from what we've seen each and every week, including here tonight. We've seen them come down pit road around lap 21 or so in a fuel run. Can they or do they have enough to make it all the way to the very end? And do we see some of these drivers maybe start to hang back a little bit? Is that what's happening now? That inside lane even not necessarily coming apart, but that inside lane starting to not be as tight as it was here this evening. And what was a lead pack of about 18 drivers, now only 10 or so. Is everybody trying to run a little half fuel, try to save enough to get to the very end here with 21 remaining. I'll tell you what, you look up front, I don't think Holloway or Akers is, they're not really saving much. They're on the loud pedal. And Holloway here, he must be confident that he's got enough to get to the very end because, well, he's up front. And you're up front. You've got that pedal through that floorboard. There is no lifting when you're leading these lines here, these super speedway racetracks. And we've got a couple cars coming down pit road. I was looking back here for Guy Braco and a couple others. Well, it looks like Guy Braco, Rob Duvidak, Eddie Morris, they're all coming down. They don't feel confident they have enough. It looks like a splash of gas for those drivers. So pit stops kind of happening off sequence here, just enough to get you to the very end. We'll see how that plays out, especially when it comes to in late race caution. This firmly should get them in the window now, 20 to go. We'll see how this plays out. They are going to be most likely a lap down to our leaders before it's all said and done. Yep, Duvidak now just coming down through bottom of turn 2. And our leaders are going to be coming by him here in just a moment. Going to be a lap down, but be plenty of fuel to the good. How does this shake out for them? And can they latch on to the front of this lead pack where there won't be a lap down? That would be ideal. While everybody else has to come down and top off, they would have already done so. But you've got to stay pretty much in front of this lead pack. Holloway continuing to lead that inside lane. Outside lane, Russ Hancock. And he's been flirting, trying to get clear of that inside group. Not going to happen this time. We should see this lead pack catch up with those 3 drivers that come down pit road. There you have it. Yeah, that's a pretty big gap. Unfortunately, Guy Braco is going to lose that draft, it looks like. Eddie Morris is connected. I'm sorry, that's not Eddie Morris right there. That's Duvidak and Braco. And then Duvidak's connected to a lap down car. And unfortunately, Guy Braco, that strategy's not going to pay off. Single file line underneath him is going to drive by. All of a sudden, the outside lane no longer there. Now, what can Duvidak do? He's got some help. We see, big, everybody kind of scattering back there, jockeying for some positions. Now does Holloway. Oh, sorry, that's going to be the 8 car, the 99. They're going to move high. They're going to let these leaders by, which I'm kind of surprised about. If I were Duvidak, I would want to... Oh, that's why. Leaders are coming down pit road. Weber sideways is going to make contact with a couple cars. Not the entrance that some of those drivers wanted. Weaver made contact with at least 2 cars on entrance there. In the meantime, this is what Duvidak wanted to see happen. He is going to cycle out. That was almost perfect. He's going to be up to speed now. Can he get all the way back around and maintain this lead? I think he's going to be able to. He's going to have the push of the 8. We're going to see Dalton Gibson come down pit road. I believe we're going to have to see that. Not going to happen this time. Maybe Gibson's going to hang on, maybe try to run half throttle and save the fuel that he knows he's missing. But this is going to be really important. Where does the 99 and the 8, the 7, the 38 all kind of blend here with this group coming off of pit road? How does this all shake out? These drivers are going to be obviously 15 mile an hour faster. But the group that came down pit road are way ahead off into turn 3 and 4. Not together, though. They're not very organized, so we'll see how this all shakes out. Holloway looks like he's got Russ Hancock with him. They've got Matt Binky with them there, and a couple others. So everybody, they're starting to form up here. But you have this group led by Dalton Gibson right now. Also, it looks like, actually, no, I was wrong. Duvidak, this did not play out right. He did sequence out. He's actually, they're flirting with the potentially going a lap down, it looks like. I don't quite understand how this happened. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. We have not seen the Jeff Carl, John Bell, Chase Greer, these guys down pit road just yet. So that makes sense. They have not come down pit road. Now, what is really going to be interesting to see is if Duvidak cycles, or if the rest of these guys pit and leave those two by themselves, it's pretty much going to scuff the strategy. And unfortunately, trying to get caught up, trying to get back with that group that essentially is going to be the leading group here. And once Gibson comes down pit road, it looks like that's going to be Daniel Holloway. They're down the back stretch right now, or coming down the front stretch. While Duvidak has got some help with the 8 and the 7, they're just now coming down the short chute. I don't know if this is going to work for the 99 here. In the meantime, let's talk about our leader, Dalton Gibson, Jeff Carl, P2, John Bell, Chase Greer, DJ Mattis, your top 5. These drivers have not come down pit road yet. I think they're actually going to try to run this out. All coming down last time on lap number 76. So that was roughly 29 laps ago. I would believe if we thought that it was going to be a pretty clear opportunity, you know, to the good, maybe half a gallon or a lap or two, we'd have seen more drivers stay out. But instead, really, it's this kind of top 10 group here that is elected to not come down pit road yet, all most likely trying to conserve fuel as the laps continue to tick down. And you can do that, especially in pack racing here. You know, it's really especially if you're back towards you're not the first 2 cars in line or so. You really could save some fuel, right around about half throttle. You can even be, 2/3 throttle out of it. And a lot of times around the racetrack, just depending on who you've got with you pushing and who really is there for you and what you can make work. Otherwise, like Duvidak here, he came down pit road, he did take full fuel here when he came back down. That was roughly around lap 82, 83 or so. And actually, well, let's just speak from a position of factuality here. So Duvidak came down pit road lap 85. So obviously he is well to the good in terms of fuel. He is going to pull this group around. If anything, if the 7 car is able to stay up front and not have to come down pit road and ultimately bring home the checkered flag, it very well could be to the credit of the 99 and the 8 car out front. This tow here is going to pay off for him in about 10 laps if they can make it work. We see the 38 car really pull slow up on that inside lane. There it is. There it is. They didn't think they were going to make it, so they're all going to come down pit road. This is everybody that has not come. They're on their way now. The 7 car is going to lead the top 7 down pit road. This is going to cycle Daniel Holloway to the lead pack here. They're coming down the backstretch now. They will be there when our leaders are coming out. So at least they should be. Looks like everybody is mostly cleared out. Dalton Gibson with the fastest pit stop there. And he's going to lead your leader off of pit road. He's going to have to hold off Daniel Holloway. But that's not going to happen. Holloway is going to have Matt Binky, Russ Hancock, Tyler Hurt with him, Todd Poston. This is the fast group. As you see there, they're going to start lapping some of these cars that just come down pit road. Not what they wanted to see, unfortunately. This is going to be, that is going to be the end of what could have been a really decent finish for some of these guys, unless we see a caution come out. Gibson is not going to make it easy to get by, but they're going to get by him they're going to make it look easy. Daniel Holloway up front. Now cycle through your leader. Matt Binky, P2, Russ Hancock, Tyler Hurt, Todd Poston, Ethan Horst, currently sitting 6th. Gibson somehow able to jump onto the back draft of this group. So Gibson may very well have a hand in this before it's all said and done. But then a good gap behind him. It's going to be Jeff Carl, Chase Greer, DJ Mattish, John Bell, all by his lonesome. Frank Ranger by himself as well. So really not the sequence they wanted to see. Duvadek, he's currently sitting 16th, really kind of just nowhere to go. Unfortunately, not the run the 99 wanted to see come to fruition here tonight. Going back up front, they're going to start to get racy here. These guys are well free and clear. They really have no pressure. It's going to be, these 8 cars. And without a caution, it'll be these 8 cars that race to the victory here tonight for the American Sim Racing Tour at Daytona under the lights on turn 1. What does that look like? Who's going to come out of this group the winner? Side by side as they roll through the corner here. Holloway commanding with the commanding dominance on the bottom line here. He's been that way most of the night. Kind of playing or minding his P's and Q's where it ever makes sense for him to jump up there and hanging on that bottom row. We saw him paired up with Chris Akers for a while. That was could have been a really strong performance for this group. Unfortunately, those 2 drivers not possible to be connected anymore here. Let's see, where is Akers running, actually? Akers is running back here 15th. Kind of all by his lonesome with Jason Greenlee. Again, this pit cycle really has a lot of these faster drivers, a lot of these folks you expected to have a decent run here tonight. Kind of mixed and messed up across the field. They're going to work their way by some lap traffic. They're going to take the stripe. 5 laps remaining here tonight at Daytona. The 343 car looked to try to get clear on the inside. He didn't have the momentum. Holloway up front with a huge push from the 35. As we see the laps continue to tick down, something to be really cognizant of. Let's take a look at Tyler Hurt on the outside of that outside row. Also, Poston on the inside row, about 3 cars back. Where do those 2 shake into this? And by the way, look at the 7 car. Led some laps, it really cycled out of the draft and kind of in a competitive spot before that pit stop. Now found his way, it was able to hang on to the draft at the very end here. Now has himself running for what potentially could be the checkered flag here tonight at Daytona, sitting on the 3rd row on the outside. I would not be surprised if Gibson doesn't break out here and be one of the drivers fighting for that checkered flag as they come across the stripe at the end. Oh, big mix up there. Tyler Hurt got checked up pretty hard. I believe that was Hurt, or was that Poston? It may have been Poston. Either way, that bunch of pink cars up front. And that looked like that got a little exciting up there for Gibson. We were just saying how he may have something to be, somewhere to be at the end of this thing. Now cycle back to the fourth car on that outside lane. 3 laps remaining tonight here at Daytona. Gibson now moved to the inside. 4 cars back. Holloway and Hancock. Russ, I'm sorry if I've been getting that wrong all night tonight. It is Hancock. Russ Hancock. Now going to move off the bottom. Take the inside lane lead. 3-4-3 car. Out front in front of Daniel Holloway. They're going to come across the stripe. 2 laps remaining here at Daytona. If you're Holloway in the 21 car, you don't mind this move. Being out front sets you up to be kind of defenseless at the end of this thing. Now the 21, I bet you he's thinking, boy howdy, I'm going to push him out pretty far. What is this going to look like? Can I get him out pretty far and then blow by him? Well, the 21, we've seen him push and be pushed out to some pretty big gaps. We'll see how this all plays out. In the meantime, Poston's leading on the outside row. He's got Tyler Hurt with him. We'll see how this is all going to shake out. Hancock right down to the yellow line for some reason. 1 more lap to go for the American Sim Racing Tour under the lights of Daytona. Now, it's everybody's game. Watch the 21 come down the backstretch. That outside lane losing momentum. But the 21 is going to be glued to the bumper of the 3-4-3. Watch this. Huge shove. But not going to be enough, it doesn't look like, out of Daniel Holloway in the 21. He's going to be pinched down to the bottom. Does anybody have a run to the end of this thing? It doesn't look like it. Russ Hancock going to be your winner. Saw a couple cars get involved there. And then that's Will Weber and a couple others parked up against the fence after it's all said and done. But the driver of the night going to bring home the checkered flag. Russ Hancock of the 3-4-3 is going to bring home P1. Daniel Holloway, Dalton Gibson, your top 3. We're going to sit back and talk to them in just a moment. We're going to step aside. We'll bring you some post-race coverage right after this. You're watching Turn 1. Another night of exciting racing action in the books here tonight with the American Sim Racing Tour. We're going to talk to the 7 car of Dalton Gibson. Dalton, congratulations on a top 3 there. I tell you what, I bet after those pit stops you were wondering if you were going to be anywhere near the top 10 sequencing back out on track.
Man, jeez. I didn't realize that everybody was going to short pit like that, so it kind of got me off strategy. Teammates were allowed to go down with the majority of them. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case for me, but I'm just glad that I was able to attach to the pack once I got back out, back up to speed, and at least give myself a shot. But man, that was a crazy race. Just a lot of chaos, for sure.
It felt like it was a lot of chaos. Dalton, we saw you up front here for a good portion of the night. Did you have the speed to really stay up there and try to stay out of trouble, or what was really the strategy coming into this evening?
I really just trying to put myself into good positions, man. Really just trying to stay up to the front. Usually once you get shuffled back to the back, is usually when you get collected into things, or at least for me, the past couple of races, that's been the case for me. But yeah, that's been the strategy, at least to stay up front, try and get stage points, try and move towards the playoffs if I can.
Well, it worked out for you tonight, bringing home a top 3 after it was all said and done. Dalton, congratulations. I'm going to be talking to you again here real soon.
All right, appreciate it, man. I'd like to shout out Racing Idiot Nation, my family, friends, and fans watching at home.
Absolutely. Dalton Gibson, P3 here tonight at Daytona. And with that, we will talk to our race winner, Russ Hancock. Russ Hancock for the win here tonight at Daytona. Russ, I tell you what, when it was all said and done, that outside lane did not look like it had the momentum. What did it take to get it done here tonight?
Teammates, buddy. Working with the teammates, we got some good pushing going and got up in the front and just was able to hold on there at the end.
Did you know that you were going to have to obviously fight with the 21 there towards the end of that? And was there anything special going on there, or was it just all about the right push at the right time here?
It was all about the right push at the right time. Tyler had some damage, and he kept trying to get me up there, and then they got a little squirrely, and Todd got behind me and gave me a real good push and got me out front. And I was just able to kind of keep it in front of Holloway and come out with that win.
Absolutely. Well, listen, congratulations. Good to see you in victory lane. I'm sure we'll be talking to you again here real soon. Congratulations on P1.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
And with that, we will talk to the 21 driver of Daniel Holloway, who had a really decent night here, but the finish is going to be one spot short. Daniel, congratulations on P2. Talk to me about the race strategy. It looked like you were pretty fast out there tonight and just come up one short.
Oh yeah, just keeping it clean for towards the end there, and that pit stop on the very end. That's where we had to hit our marks, and once we got that through, and it was just wait till the finish, hit the white flag, and then Russ and Todd got a good run, and even if I tried to get to the outside, I wouldn't have had enough time to get that momentum on past Russ. So it's his first win of the season, so that locks him in. I'll take second, and I think I gapped Chris Akers in the point standings, so I know he's going to love that one. And but so far so good. Just got to keep these finishes in top 3 at least, and I'm going to squeak another win out of here, so who knows.
Daniel, we saw you, speaking of Chris Akers, we saw you draft with him a couple times tonight, and you two looked really well together, often able to create actually gaps on that inside lane. Knowing that, and when the 3-4-3 moved down on that inside row, was it your intent to try to shove him out in front enough to pass him and just couldn't get clear enough, or really was there anything else you could have done differently on the backstretch on the last lap?
Nothing really I could have done. I didn't have the momentum plus to clear because Todd was right there, but always thinking of points. So if I'm not going to win, I'll take second place or third. So good team points also, and I was pretty much going to stick with Russ there until the end there. Even if I tried to, like I said, going into 3 and 4, if I had the momentum stuff, I don't think I had enough time to get on the outside with him anyways. But where I'm at second place, I'll take it and move on to the next race to Talladega with this car.
When you're good enough to points race at a super speedway race, that says something. Daniel Holloway, P2 here tonight for the American Sim Racing Tour. Daniel, congratulations.
Thanks, sir. Everyone have a good night.
And with that, we'll wrap up race coverage here of the American Sim Racing Tour. Live coverage on Turn 1. An impressive night on Monday night, as always, here with this group. If you haven't already done so, make sure you get connected. We're with these drivers throughout their entire season. The playoffs kick off at the very end of April, so not much left of this regular season. So you're definitely going to want to get connected now to watch all of that racing go down here over the next couple months. On behalf of the league admins, I'm Sean Fitz. We're going to step aside for tonight. We'll see you again live Thursday evening for the Ohio Sim Racing group taking on Nashville right here on Turn 1. Again, on behalf of the league admins, I'm Sean Fitz. We appreciate you being here. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye now.